So today we're going to review the kettlebell swing technique from the very beginning all the way through actually doing repetitions and swings. This movement is a hinge pattern exercise. So that means we are going to break at the hips by pushing the hips back rather than flexing through the knees and coming into a squat stance. So the first thing we'll do, I'm going to have Chris find his hip joints, and then with soft knees, just push the hips back, trying to pinch those fingers in there. And then we're looking for, if you can hold that, a nice neutral spine, feeling the stretch in the back of the leg, okay? And then come on up. So you're gripping the ground with the toes, making contact through the big toe, pinky toe, and the heel, pushing the hips back. You'll feel a stretch through the hamstrings, and then squeeze the glutes to come back up. So that's our hinge pattern, right? And so Chris is proficient in that. He's going to stand over the kettlebell now. The next thing we're going to do is load this pattern with the deadlift. So hinge again, keeping everything tight. You'll lock that in, and then break the bell off the floor, squeeze, and come all the way up. Good. And then bring it right back down between the feet. So we've got the lats active to keep the kettlebell from moving away from us. The core is braced to keep his spine safe, and then he's going to engage and lift. Good. One more time. And that's the deadlift. All right, come on down. So this would be a prerequisite for doing the swing. You have to be able to do the strength standard before you want to start to add any kind of explosive movement to this pattern. So the next step is getting your body used to feeling the sway of the kettlebell when it's the weight is shifting back and forth, so you have to adjust as your center of gravity moves. So I'm going to have you deadlift the kettlebell again. Good. And now from here, I want you to lower it down till your hands are roughly between your knees. So you're going to hang in that hinge position. And then using the lats, just push it back and let it carry itself forward. So the lats are moving the weight here. Chris is maintaining that same integrity through his trunk, and he hikes it and then lets it float forward on its own. Okay, go ahead and set it down. So you can see as he's doing this, the weight wants to shift back and forth. He's going to find how to stabilize using the backside of his legs so that he doesn't fall all over the place when doing this exercise. So let's see it one more time. So again, we start by deadlifting the weight up. So you can set up good mechanics at the top, and then lowering down and hiking back. His feet are going to stay flat on the ground. So I want you to go ahead and wobble, like let your feet rock back and forth. So this is what we're trying to avoid here, right? So we don't want to be rocking all over the place. And you may find that that happens in the beginning, but over time you want to stay rooted. All right, go ahead and set it down. And that's going to help set you up for understanding what it feels like to swing the kettlebell, okay? The next step is to add a little bit of intensity to that. So we're going to stand behind the weight. This is where we're typically going to set up to do swings. In the deadlifts, we want to be directly over the object. In the swing, you want to step behind it because we're going to initiate the swing with a hike. So from here, I want you to go ahead and get in the hinge again, reach out for the kettlebell, and then tip the handle so the bell rocks towards you. Engage the lats. And like you're doing a long snap in football, hike that kettlebell right between your legs and then put it back down. Hike it and set it down. Good. Again, just like that. Hike and set it down. So we're looking for that same balance through the foot like we did a second ago. Again, hike and down. All right, go ahead and stand up. Shake your muscles out a little bit. That's how we initiate the swing. Okay, so it's a strong hike from just in front of the feet. Now, the next phase of this movement is going to be extending the hips. So to do this, we're going to practice in the supine position. So you can go ahead and lay down on your back. And we're going to do a basic hip bridge. All right, so go ahead and head down for right now. So just for right now, just lift your hips up, create a really big arch. So I don't want this big hyperextension in the back, okay? Come all the way down. You want to find the ribs and pull them down, a little bit of a tuck in the tailbone. You want to find your glutes, get them tight before you even move, okay? So once you've got that bracing happening, now push down through your feet, squeeze, and lift all the way up into a neutral hip, and then lower back down. Good. So we're going to bridge up and lower down. We're trying to find tension through the back side of the body. Good. Once we can do this with control, we want to make it a little bit more explosive and then pattern the action of the hands, right? So now Chris has his hands right between his hips where they were on the backswing. So extend the hips and let your hands pop up. Good. The hands come back to the hips and then you lower down. So this is the rhythm of the swing. The hands go once the hips extend. The hips stay in place until the hands come back. So it's hips, hands, hands, hips. So we want to practice this, feeling like the hips are moving the hands. You're not lifting with the deltoids, you're just letting the hands go. Okay? All right, come on up. Okay, so this next drill, we're going to put those last two pieces together, the hike and then that hip bridge. So from that same position, I'm going to have you hike the kettlebell 3 times, right? On the 3rd rep, I want you to stand up forcefully and let the kettlebell project. So inhale and hike, inhale and hike, inhale, hike and stand. Boom, catch it with your hips and set it back down. Awesome. Good. All right, let's do that again. Hike, hike, stand up. Nice, good, and down. So we want to inhale sharply as the kettlebell comes back through the legs. That helps create tension through the midsection, which is going to keep the spine protected while it's under this extreme load, right? And then exhale on the way up so that you release some of that tension into the weight. Now I want you to just hike it once and stand up. So this is what we call a power swing. 1 hike, stand up. And reset. Nice. Hike it and stand up. One more time. Good. Stand up and relax. So once you've got this down where you can consistently hike the kettlebell without losing your back position, you understand the breathing, inhaling, exhaling on the way up, then we can start doing repetition swings. So now, instead of putting the kettlebell down, just do 5 swings in a row, okay? So inhale back, exhale up 5 times. One more rep. Control the weight down. Good. So you notice every time we put the bell down, it's the same way. You catch it with the hips and you set it back down. Shake everything out. We're going to do one more rep, and this time I want you to pay attention to this top position, feeling the weight come into your body before you move the hips back and complete the rep. Hike it, stand up, catch it, reset. Nice. Good. So, common faults at this point are on the eccentric phase, moving the hips too soon. So hold your hands out like this, Chris. So the top position of the swing should be like a standing plank. So for this split second when the kettlebell is out, projected in front of you, everything is braced. So we can feel that by having Chris push down here. Yeah, nice. And he's tight all through here. His glutes are tight, quads are tight, and relax. So that's the top position of the swing. Hold them out again. At this moment, the kettlebell should be floating in space. When that happens, I let it fall back into my body, right? And then right about here, when the elbows are coming into contact with the trunk, then you move the hips out of the way. And then you stand back up and project. We want to keep this arc, the path of the swing, nice and tight. What typically happens is people start to hinge here, And now the kettlebell is going to come way down here. Typically that's going to load the back, cause a big flexion in the lumbar spine. And then it throws off your timing as well. So we want to be patient and let the weight fall into the body, then move it out of the way. It's more efficient and it's safer. All right, let's do 5 more reps so we can see what we're talking about. Nice. Inhale back, exhale up, nice and tight at the top. And those are the repetition swings. Typically we do anywhere from 5 to 15 with a moderate or heavier weight. More than that, you should probably bump the weight up rather than increase reps. And that's all I got.